is a possible abusive cannon rush that can be used on this map. You can actually pylon off the natural expansion and put cannons, and if you can have a probe up for high vision, you can actually kill probes or kill drones mining at the main. Just because of the way the expansions are lined up, you can actually get cannons, as I'm showing on my screen, right by the ramp, and you can actually range those drones. Is that possibly why I chose this map? I am not sure, but it is a possibility. Cannon play can be quite scary in all matchups, especially against Zerg here, just because you can pylon off and Zerglings just fall so quickly to the cannons, and you really have to get those early roaches out. But nonetheless, looks like Overlord going in the wrong position. Wild Fury as the yellow Zerg at the 6 o'clock, and over at the 3 o'clock is Master G as the blue Protoss.
Yeah, as you've mentioned, I mean, this is one of those unique maps where each position actually can be a cannon from below onto the natural mining line. It looks like Master G is going to be able to scout the Zerg first, and the Zerg will obviously know where the Protoss is based on how fast the probe got there. It is kind of interesting because this map can have quite different games depending on how the players spawn. And in this case, it's actually close rush distance, the closest rush distance spawn of any spawn in this map. I mean, aside from if you're both top spawns. But it'll be interesting to see what the Protoss player decides to do, if he goes for an aggressive build or kind of plays a little bit of more a standard game. Usually Zerg players do like this map because the expansions are fairly easy to take, but in this case, in this spawn combination, the normal Zerg third base is actually going to be in between both players, so it's going to be a little more difficult to take that third.
Looks like that probe is wandering. We have a wandering probe, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we are going to see I would assume a proxy, but he's got to be careful because that Overlord, that could be the Overlord of bad news. I'm interested to see exactly what he has in play, but looks like finally the scouting drone is out for, I totally forgot his name, excuse me, for Wild Fury, but looks like that probe has come in. Looks like it's going to build a pylon. Did he see that on the Overlord? That is really the question. Definitely walked right under the Overlord. Definitely gave away. And we're actually probably going to see some Void Ray play, possibly a Phoenix as well. Looks like Wild Fury doing a nice job to delay this Cybernetics core wall in. And the spawning pool is up as well. Queen coming out. Zerglings will be out momentarily as well. Really needs to get the Cybernetics core down because that is the key tech building which allows him to build that Stargate, which allows him to do this cheesy build that he is in fact doing. So if possibly Wild Fury goes for roaches, he's definitely going to need, how many queens is it? He's probably going to need about 4 queens or so if he does have his natural expansion to really transfuse properly and deal off any serious number of Void Rays. But did he see it with that Overlord? I'm thinking he didn't, as if he's responded quite yet. I would think he'd fly over that Overlord to see what's going on.
Yeah, the probe definitely did pass through the Overlord, but the question is whether the player saw it or not. It is kind of interesting to note that when Wild Fury was trying to block off that Cybernetics core, the Zealot actually was not in production. So if he was paying attention to that, that actually might kind of tip him off in terms of there might be sneaky play coming on. Protoss, the probe, I think, was still inside the base. I guess it was killed out of Wild Fury's base, but it's really going to be up to Wild Fury to kind of scout what is going on, see what's going to happen. As you mentioned, the proxy Stargate right there, very, very close positions. I mean, once it hits, it's going to be reinforced very quickly. The Protoss player does have an option kind of to go immediately or kind of wait for 2-3 Void Rays before going in. Kind of getting that, surprise and also overwhelming. It is interesting to see that Wild Fury went for in-base hatchery despite not really getting blocked. Yeah, that is a lot of ling. That's actually not going to be too good for a Zerg player if there's a sentry on the way. Chrono boosts are completely safe for the Protoss player, so he does have the option of trying to protect himself if the Zerg player does try to go for mass ling bust. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to do it before the Void Ray does come out.
Ow, he only has 15, now 16 drones. He has made a ton of lings and a hatchery. He is making everything but drones, anti-drone player, but I really question the use of Master G's probe. He actually left with that Overlord, but forget what I'm saying momentarily. Lings popping up and a nice force field on the ramp, but Master G left with the probe and went back under the Overlord. He goes under the Overlord to put down the Stargate and then back under it. He really wants to give the Zerg a chance to see it here. Maybe he doesn't see the Overlord, maybe he wasn't paying attention, but no sign of tech thus far here from Wild Fury. He really needs something to deal with it because here comes the first Void Ray, and this is gonna be terrible for Zerg. I just don't see it. There is just no way. Roach Warren as well. This is bad news thus far here for Zerg.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, the Zerg player's cutting drones while getting 3 hatcheries, which, I mean, doesn't make too much sense, honestly. He only has 1 queen to kind of service, like, all these hatcheries, and, I mean, that's not going to be good against Void Rays either. You definitely need at least 2 queens to take out 1 Void Ray, excluding transfuses. If that's the case, you're going to need a little bit more, at least. The 3rd queen really kind of helps in that case, since she's not going to be actively transfusing.
Lings
Oh,
did
actually,
get
a
in.
run by coming down for...
Looks like the Lings did indeed get in. Sorry to interrupt you, I just got so excited. But looks like there was a nice force field to clean it up. And there he's going to be pushed back. And here come the Void Rays. And now there goes the Queen. And that will simply be GG, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing he's going to be able to do here. Might be able to delay momentarily, but he is going to lose a ton of structure buildings. There goes the main hatchery popping as we speak.
Yeah, he's going straight for the jugular. There's not a whole lot the Zerg player can do. He might be able to go for, I guess, just Ling Bust or something, but... at this point, like, he's going to lose his hatchery, he's going to lose all his buildings, and it's going to be, you know, Zerg tears kind of in a moment in the form of GG.
24 Lings are making an attempt at the front door, but a Zealot, whoa, do not push out Protoss, careful, careful. Looks like he's going to go right back in. He only has those 2 sentries, but this is plenty to delay. I would expect to see his force field here, and there finally is the force field. Must be focusing on those Void Rays, but there goes the natural, starting to be fired on, and there is just nothing these drones can do. Zerg cannot break. I question the use, once again, of Zerg's playstyle here. 2 more gateways going down, but Zerg producing all those Lings with 3 hatcheries. Maybe a Bangling Bust or something like that, but Lings with sentries, they can't quite cut it. So nonetheless, looks like we will once again be going on for a game 3. More Void Rays being produced. Natural expansion has officially fallen. Expect a GG as soon as this Queen. That is the last anti-air remaining. Long distance mining to the main off hatchery, but there goes the Roach's Warren started. Definitely expect a GG, but still continuing Ling pressure at the front door and just dwindling down this Ling force down to about 7 or 8.
Yeah, evowildfury actually sees the proxy now, and he's GGing now. I mean, again, kind of going back to the previous thing we talked about in terms of replays and, you know, not getting proxied or teased and kind of having it done to you once and saying, I'm never going to let that happen again. I think we're kind of seeing a similar situation here. It's kind of unfortunate because if the Zerg player was aware